Hey guys, I just wanted to see what everyone was reading today. Are you reading a nice fantasy book with epic battles and dragons and wizards? Are you reading, a classic literature book? Maybe a good historical fiction, maybe a sci-fi book with loads of aliens and robots. But I can tell you one thing, guys, you haven't read a book where one of the main female characters bites the member, the thing, off one of the main bad guys in the story. Yes, you heard me right. They actually bite that off. So let's talk about it. Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about Off Season by Jack Ketchum. I recently reviewed and talked about, quite in depth, The Girl Next Door, also by Jack Ketchum. And after I read that book, which is the first book I ever read by the author, I went straight on to this one. I found out about this because John from the Books of Blood channel, which he sadly ceased to do, was discussing this, and at the time I thought, okay, that sounds awesome. As The Girl Next Door, it was described as being one of the most disturbing and horrific books ever. So I thought, why not? That sounds like a good time. So I bought it on eBay, I think it was. This is the author's uncut, uncensored version. And at the back of the book, there is a kind of an interview where he's discussing about, because was his first book, and how his editors wanted to mostly mainstream the book and cut out all of the good parts. And at the end, he wasn't pleased with what the outcome was, so he decided to write it again and to do a uncut version. So before I get started, this is just going to be my own thoughts and feelings regarding this book, and this is going to be a spoiler-free video as well. So Off Season is about a group of cannibals. Now, I'm not sure whether they are related with each other, but they are a family. I don't know whether they're related or whether they're just a group of people that happen to be living with each other. But there's a group of cannibals that are men, women and children. And they are living in this cave, which you can see on the front cover of the book. And in this cave, they basically sleep, live and eat. And yeah, the book does go in depth about what exactly is on the menu. But these cannibals, they have kind of a sort of intelligence. They can speak, but kind of in broken English. And they kind of can plan to a certain extent. And they find enjoyment out of hunting as well. They find joy and tremendous pleasure with going on these hunts and killing people. And yes, it does go in depth about what they actually do when they catch up to their prey. Sadly, is what happens at the start of the book, where a woman is viciously attacked by this group of cannibals. Now, these cannibals, I just want to go back to them. They are written in kind of a sexual way. I don't really know how else to describe it, but they're always talking about some of the men having erections and women's breasts and all that type of stuff. And yes, they do have sexual intercourse with each other in a couple of scenes, but they are very, very cruel and vicious. It kind of reminded me about the cannibals in The Wrong Turn. That's what I had in my mind, because it's described in the book when they're hunting, their victims or prey can hear this laughter in the background and laughter in the trees, and that kind of reminded me about the laughter that the cannibals have in The Wrong Turn. So our main character, I think it's called Carla, and she is, I'm pretty sure she's a writer of some sort, and she's living in the cabin by herself, and her sister and a group of friends come along one day and visit her, and it's it's all planned. It's a planned visit, and I think that is where the book kind of disappointed me, and I didn't really like it as much because these characters, I didn't really feel a connection with them. They were kind of just like one massive lump of of characters, and I had trouble remembering certain character names and the relationship that they had with each other, because these cannibals are stalking Carla and observing her and her sister and the other members that have come along. They decide to go on a hunt and kill as many of these people as they possibly can. It's nothing personal. They just do it because they have to eat, and I think they enjoy killing as well. So this results in kind of a Night of the Living Dead situation where the people in the house have to defend themselves against the threat outside of the house or building. And yeah, it leads to a couple of people not making it out in one piece, well, several pieces, and because people are taken hostage and taken away back to the cave, a couple of the people in the house decide to go off and try to rescue them. In the meantime, there's this like law enforcement police officers behind the scenes in the town, I think it's called Dead River, trying to solve the mystery. They have seen the woman that was attacked at the start of the book, and they try to put all the pieces together and try to solve the case. So basically the book just ends with this whole big rescue mission about a man at the house that was in the group rescuing one of the, well, no, I think it's two captives that were taken by the cannibals back to their cave, and trying to rescue them. I won't say whether this is successful or not, but it was definitely unexpected about how it resulted. And when you're reading it, you're thinking about, should I feel bad for the cannibals because this is what they are, this is who they are, they cannot help it, but at the end of the day they are the villains, they are the bad guys, and in novels and in movies and sometimes in real life, good has to overcome evil. And you're thinking about, will these cannibals make it out? Because some of them don't. I mean, I'm sure if I reread this book, I can like keep a record of, okay, this is how many members of the cannibal family there are, and every time one of them gets knocked off or killed, I can just knock it off the list. And I'm sure someone's done that because there are loads of sequels for this whole series. It's called the Dead River series. And this book can get very horrific because it's about cannibals. There is scenes in this book which will make you really grossed out and make you feel queasy and maybe a little bit sick. They do torture some people in this as well. And yeah, it can get very disturbing. So yeah, that's basically the story of Off Season. Overall, it was a good book. Not as good as The Girl Next Door, but I'm glad I read it. And I did enjoy it, but not as much as The Girl Next Door. Obviously, I like the cannibal section the most. That was the most interesting part of the whole story. And what I didn't really like as much is the characters of the people in the house, as well as the law enforcement police officers. I mean, they were okay. I just couldn't really remember any of them. And I mean, I don't know whether Jack Ketchum is not really a good character development writer and more of a plot-driven writer or author. But I just couldn't remember any of these characters, and I didn't really have a connection with them, even our main characters. But as I said, I did enjoy this book, but it is what it is. So what I'm going to rate this book, I'm probably going to rate it at 3 stars out of 5. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, it wasn't the worst thing ever. It definitely hasn't put me off reading any more of Jack Ketchum's work. So if you have any recommendations from this author, then please comment them down below and I will definitely check them out. And please let me know if you have read Off Season and what did you think of this book as well. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or were you in between? And hopefully I've given you guys enough information to gauge whether this is going to be your thing or not. Because what I know by reading Jack Ketchum's work is that they are very horrific and they are full of trigger warnings and they are definitely not for everyone. So please keep that in mind if you choose to read any of his work. I mean, I've only read 2, but that's what I'm gauging from the guy. So guys, that has been my video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it and I will see you in my next one.